Let's talk Tanya for the 9th of Tisha B'Av of a leap year. In yesterday's Tanya, we concluded talking about davening, and how davening is the time when we process the light which we bring into our souls when we study the Torah. And that serves as a segue to the next part of this letter, where the Alter Rebbe is going to get very practical. Perhaps more practical than we've seen the Alter Rebbe at any point up until now in Tanya. The Alter Rebbe turns to the Chassidim and says, in the shuls, the Chabad shuls, davening has to be deliberate. Davening has to be slow, where there's no rushing through davening. The Alter Rebbe actually says that the daily davening, the morning davening, should take an hour and a half. Now, the Alter Rebbe is aware that people who are business people who have jobs, they can't necessarily spend that time davening. So the Alter Rebbe says, that's fine. They should not be the chazanim. They should not be the ones who lead the services. Instead, the ones who lead the services should be the malamdim, those who their job is to teach Torah, or people who they're sitting in the learning Torah the entire day. They should be the chazan on a daily basis, because davening has to be done deliberately. That's during the week. Shabbos, when Shabbos comes along, then the Alter Rebbe says, then there's no excuses for anyone. No one's working on Shabbos. There's no excuse for anyone to rush through davening. Everyone has to daven properly. Everyone has to daven with kavana, and everyone has to daven every single word slowly. And then business people also can be the chazan on Shabbos. In fact, the Alter Rebbe says it's a greater obligation on people who are in the world of commerce on Shabbos to devote that time. Shabbos LaHashem. Shabbos is for God. In Shulchan Aruch it says people who study Torah the whole week, Shabbos they can rest a little. People who work the whole week, it's incumbent upon them when it comes along Shabbos to devote that time to Hashem, to davening and to learning, so they can be the chazan then also. And the Alter Rebbe says, I mean business. The Alter Rebbe says, I plan on sending spies, secret spies, to all the different Chassidic communities, and they're going to be reporting to me who is davening appropriately and which people ought to be davening but are lazy. They're not spending the time and putting in the effort necessary to daven as they're supposed to. The Alter Rebbe says such people, I receive reports about them that they're not doing their max, they're not doing their best at davening. When they come to me to hear Chassidus, when they come to the Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe says they're not going to be welcomed. And he says, and by the way, from this you can infer the opposite also, which is the people who do daven properly, when they come, they're going to be welcomed with open arms. I guess the Alter Rebbe is saying, you want to come, you want to hear Chassidus. Chassidus is not about some sort of abstract, intellectual, fascinating exercise. You have to walk the walk. And if you're not putting in the work in davening, then what's the point of you coming and hearing Chassidus from me? With this, we have concluded the first chapter of Igeres HaKodesh. Tomorrow we will start and conclude actually the second chapter of Igeres HaKodesh, a fascinating letter that Alter Rebbe wrote after he was released from prison.